What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to talk about the truth about why you're still fat even in a calorie deficit. Alright, so maybe you guys have been dieting for a couple of weeks now or a few months and you're just not losing weight even though you're still in a calorie deficit. Alright, so we're going to break down why that is and how to solve it. Alright, so make sure you guys stick to the end of the video to pretty much figure out exactly what to do step by step so you guys can start losing weight again. All right, let's get into it. So first, we got to talk about the leak points. All right, because there's some things you guys might be doing or not doing that maybe quick fixes that you guys can start losing weight fast. All right, so common fat loss leaks include things like this. Inaccurate tracking, low steps, weekend binges, lack of sleep, high stress, poor digestion, low protein, or you're not lifting. Okay, so if any of these can be a reason why you may think you're in a calorie deficit or you may think you're eating below your maintenance calories, but even if you are, you still have to do certain other things as well to start losing weight. For example, one of my clients, he's not working out at all. He's not going to the gym at all. All he's doing is I got him tracking his calories and he's doing some type of activity. So he's doing 100 push-ups a day while tracking his calories. He's been doing that for the past 3 months, and he's already lost 18 pounds. And all he's doing, he has a high-protein diet. He has a calorie deficit with a high-protein diet, and he's doing some type of activity. All right. So you guys gotta find out what works for you and what you're missing. It's very, very important. All right, to find those leak points. All right, they're game changers, little game changers. Okay. So let's talk about the calorie myth, the caloric myth. Let's do it. So calories in versus calories out is not enough. All right, your body is a chemistry lab, not a calculator. Okay, so hormones can lock fat cells regardless of a deficit. Okay, so 60% of dieters regain more weight than they lost. And the quality of your calories matter more than the math. So what does this mean? Well, step one, let's say if you're not getting enough sleep. Everybody knows you should have at least 6 hours of sleep a night. That's the bare minimum. Let's say you're only sleeping 4 hours of sleep every single night. Guess what happens? Your hormones fluctuate, testosterone goes down, stress goes high, estrogen goes high, and that affects your hormones. And what your hormones are going to do, they're going to lock your fat cells in regardless of how you're dieting, regardless of how you're eating. You're going to maintain fat because guess what? You're not sleeping enough, for one. Testosterone's low. That's another reason. And you're stressed. So your body isn't going to be in calorie burning mode. No, they're going to need more calories to get through those stressful days, stressful nights, and get through sleep. Okay? That's number one. Secondly, the first quote, your body is a chemistry lab, not a calculator. A lot of guys want to kind of solve fitness using math. Oh, numbers this, intake, outtake, energy, this, that. That's true. But first of all, we got to get the basis of it all. What type of foods are you eating? Are you eating, whole foods, nutritious foods? Number one. Are you putting good foods in your body? That's first and foremost. Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? How's your stress? How's your mindset? Are you disciplined to get it done, to keep doing tasks over and over again? All right? Because the math is going to stay the same no matter what, but we got to make sure on the emotional level, we're doing the things we got to do to log in. Okay? And for the third quote, it's funny because they say 60% of dieters regain more weight than they lost. That shows you that dieting doesn't work. I've had a lot of clients who came to me, and before they worked with me, they was dieting hard, paleo diet, keto diet, vegan, vegetarian. They had all these different things they were doing, but they came to me because they said they couldn't stick to it, or, they lost a bunch of weight, but they gained it back. So it's like, that shows me, okay, dieting really doesn't work. We got to find out what is a sustainable system/routine that you can do for the rest of your life. And think about this. Your system and routine will change over time. So you may be more of an intermittent fasting person right now, right? For the next few months. Once it get closer to winter time or fall winter time, you may not want to intermittent fast no more. You may want to have a nice early breakfast. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's going to be different seasons of your um, your nutrition. It's going to be different seasons that you're going to want to partake in. It's going to be sometimes you're going to want to build more muscle, eat more. Sometimes you want to eat less and focus on work. So that gets lost in the fray as well. So stay account to that. And like we touched on, the quality of your calories matter more than the math. We talked about that already. As getting more whole foods in, foods that actually matter, foods that actually grown outside. Don't rely so much on processed foods. I know me, protein shakes, like artificial protein shakes, protein powders. Well, yes, it's a good substitute, but it's not the end all be all. We still want to have 80% whole foods into your diet, and I've been doing that for a few months now. It's changed the game for me. All right. So, what is a true caloric deficit? All right. So, perceived deficit does not equal a real deficit. All right. Remember, a perceived deficit does not equal a real deficit. Okay. A deficit means your body is burning more than you eat. Not just what your app says. All right. So remember that. All right. So 500 plus calories can vanish into thin air. Okay. So if you guys see the graphic down below, you guys have what your actual calories could be, food intake was 2,400, and what your logged calories are, which is 1,800. And this can come from different things. Food packaging could be, inaccurate. The MyFitnessPal app or whatever app you got to track it on, it could mess up. You could make a mistake. It could be human error. Anything can happen that can mess up, if you are in a real deficit. So just because you say, okay, I've logged 1,800 calories, what about the snacks you didn't log? What about that one meal that you was ashamed of that you didn't log? People forget about that. I hear that all the time. I'm saying, I ask people, my clients sometimes to eat 2-3 meals, and I'd be like, okay, is that all you ate? I know I programmed you, let's say 3 or 4 meals, so you ate 2. Okay, is that all you ate? Oh, well, no, I had dinner, and I was like, and, I didn't track it. So why didn't you track your dinner? Oh, well, I know it wasn't good for me, so it doesn't matter. Like, just because, if you're tracking, I want you to track 100%, because just because you don't feel like the meal was good for you doesn't mean you shouldn't track it at all, because you may never know. You may never know. So it's always important to track it to see exactly what the numbers say. And if the numbers come back consistent and it's still a problem, then we can know, okay, and maybe this meal, maybe that meal, maybe the foods you're eating. So if you're not tracking it, you're already lost. So perceived deficit doesn't equal a real deficit. Remember that. And remember, to be honest with yourself, be honest with what you're doing consistently. Okay? So let's get on to the hidden blocks, all right? So hidden block number 1 is called metabolic adaptation, all right? Metabolic adaptation. So let's talk about that. Your body fights back. People don't realize this, but your body fights back, all right? What does that mean? That means when you're in a deficit, more than likely, your energy is going to go low, your thyroid output is going to go low, and your daily movement is going to decrease, naturally, because your body isn't going to have the energy to move. Is it going to have the energy to lift heavy? Is it going to have the energy to do this extra type of work that your body needs to do, but it just doesn't want to do it because, you're in a deficit, And your body is fighting back because your body is in survival mode. And for guys who know, if you've been in a calorie deficit long enough, you know when your body is in survival mode. Because you start craving crazy carbs. You start craving carbs. You have a cheat meal of a nice little, let's say you have a muffin for a cheat meal. You just want one muffin, but that one muffin isn't going to do nothing. So you're going to keep going back to the kitchen, keep snacking on carbs. Then before you know it, you're 800 calories up, 1,000 calories up, just because your body fights back. It's your body telling you, I need more food. I need those carbs, But think about this. Daily movement is the fat loss killer. All right, it is the fat loss killer. So when I say daily movement, I'm talking about walking, standing, taking the stairs, riding a bike, swimming, things like that, you know. But even the everyday things will help you lose fat. Even the walking, the standing up while you're working, was going to help you lose fat. Taking the stairs while going into work instead of the elevator is going to help you lose fat. Because guess what? Our resting metabolic rate is burning fat at a 60% rate. So majority of the day is us burning fat just for us relaxing, just for us sitting there chilling. Really nothing. I'm right here, me now. I'm burning calories just doing this, just breathing. I'm burning 60% or more calories just by doing that. All right. Next, we got to talk about NEAT, and NEAT is the thing we talk about, which is walking, standing, taking the stairs, the little activities that we do while we're moving. That accounts for 17% of energy expenditure during the day. All right, so all the things you guys might be doing, like playing with your kids, walking, going grocery shopping, that's about 20% of your energy getting spent throughout the day. All right, and funny enough, exercise is just 7% of the energy you guys will expend on a day. 7% of the exercise. So whether you guys are doing push-ups, going to the gym, doing activity, it's the lowest. It's the lowest on the barrier for energy expenditure. So what does that tell you? That if you guys want to meet in the middle ground, let's say you guys are exercising and you guys are just sitting there and just burning calories, what would take you over the edge? It will be, doing more walking, doing more standing, doing more activities where you kind of at a point where you're in a low stress movement zone. That's going to help you take you over the edge, just doing daily movements throughout the day. All right, so it's very, very important for burning energy and losing fat. All right. So hidden block number 2. This is the one that killed me a lot when I was in my journey coming up, man, and it's called weekend ruins it all. Trust me, I know this all too well. So, weekends ruin it all. Think about this. 5 days on, 2 days off, 2 days off equals no progress. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. When I worked out, I was working out at Planet Fitness when I first started my journey. And I would be the same way. I would work out Monday through Friday, and I would literally bullshit and do nothing Saturday and Sunday. Eat like shit. Eat terribly Saturday and Sunday. And I would get back to the gym Monday feeling so weak, feeling so demotivated, feeling so lost. I'm like, man, I just worked out Friday. Why do I feel like this? I took 2 days off, and I didn't take care of my body or take care of my mind. So I'm playing catch up because I ruined my body. I ruined my progress in those 2 days. All right. So remember, this is not a deficit. It's a cycle. All right. The 5 days on, 2 days off approach is a cycle. All right. Because guess what? Let's say Monday through Friday, you're in a deficit of 500 calories a day, right? And then Saturday or Sunday, you pig out, you go hang out with friends and eat and go crazy. You're not tracking your food. You're up 1,200 calories in those 2 days alone. So now your weekly net outcome is you're in a calorie surplus of 100 calories for that week. So you're not in a deficit for that whole week. You're not in a deficit. So the overall picture is you're not in a deficit. You're in a 100 calorie surplus for that week. All right. And when you do this, it kind of helps you out because it groups the whole week together. So it makes the week as its own cycle. So Monday to Sunday is how you should lock in. Not Monday to Friday. Monday to Sunday is how you should be locked in. How you guys should be thinking about it on a weekly cycle. Okay? And that's going to help you guys out. Okay? So hidden block number 3. Hidden block number 3 is poor sleep and recovery. So this is another important one. Okay? So think about this. One bad night of sleep can stall fat loss for days. Why? Your ghrelin goes up. That means you get more hungry. Your leptin goes down. That means you're less full. Cortisol goes up. That means more belly fat. Your insulin sensitivity goes down, which means you have more fat storage. And these 4 things are all hormone-based, like we talked about in the beginning. These are all hormone-based. And what affects your hormones the most? Sleep. rest, recovery. If you're going to go through this journey of, losing weight, building muscle, or, getting more serious about your fitness goals, you got to get more serious about sleep. You must get more serious about sleep because it's going to affect your hormones. And if your hormones are out of whack, you might as well forget about it. Okay? So think about this. Even just 1 to 2 nights of poor sleep can have these effects. Increased cravings, especially carbs and sugar. Drop next day activities by up to 30%. That means you won't be as active the next day as you would be. It will drop your output by 30%. All right? And last but not least, you get impaired decision making and willpower. That means that cheesecake you seen last night, on poor sleep, you're more likely to go get it the next day. That cheat meal you said you're gonna put off until the weekend. Well, it's Wednesday and Tuesday you didn't have a good night's sleep, so I guess Wednesday you got to make up for it by having a cheat meal. So those are the things you will sabotage yourself with just by having a bad night of sleep. And for me, having a bad night of sleep is like 4 hours of sleep. If I have 4 hours of sleep, I can consider that a bad night of sleep. I can do 5. 5 is probably my minimum. I can have 5 hours and be okay. But once I get to 4 hours, I know I'm crashing. I'm done. And for me, I wake up at 4 a.m. So if I go to sleep at 12, yeah, I'm probably can say, okay, I might not be as productive tomorrow. More than likely, So you guys gotta calculate that. What time do you guys wake up? Okay, give yourself a 6 to 7 hour breather room period, so you guys can have that 6 to 7 hours of sleep, 6 to 8 hours if you want, but 6 to 7 hours minimum sleep. All right, because you guys don't want to be making bad decisions. You want to keep the progress going, keep the cycle going. Because many people quit because they don't dial in their sleep, and they stress. The decision making goes down. The willpower goes down. They quit. They don't see the gains. They hold on to more belly fat. All this stuff happens when you don't get enough sleep. Okay. So sleep is your hidden fat burning weapon. All right. 7 to 9 hours of sleep helps. All right, 9 hours on the safe side. If you guys really have the time to get the extra sleep, will help you guys a lot. But here's why. 7 to 9 hours will help you optimize your metabolism. All right, so you can reset your metabolism much easier with 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Right. Next, you get to regulate your hunger and cravings. Your hunger and cravings can be more regulated. You can control them way more on enough sleep than you're not. Okay. Next is this amount of sleep helps support training recovery. So remember, you don't build muscle in the gym, or you don't lose muscle. You don't lose fat in the gym. You lose fat while you sleep. You build muscle while you sleep. Sleeping is recovery. So sleeping is part of the process. It's part of recovering. So if you're not getting enough sleep, how can your body burn fat? How can your body build muscle if you're not sleeping enough? Very, very important. All right. Next is lower cortisol. All right. So more sleep equals less stress. So your cortisol level goes down. You're more able to make decisions. Okay. And last but not least, 7 to 9 hours of sleep helps improve mood and discipline. I know you guys probably had these nights where you had great sleep. You wake up the next day, your alarm is set to 6, you wake up at 5. It's like, what the heck? I wake up an hour early? That's because you got great sleep. More times than not, you want to wake up in that state where you're waking up before your alarm. And you want to get to a state, I'm not even there yet, but you want to get to a state where you don't even have an alarm to wake up. And that's when you've mastered your sleep. All right? When you can go to sleep without an alarm. All right, that's the state you guys want to be in. All right? So remember this. High quality sleep equals fat loss acceleration. All right? So deep sleep promotes growth hormone release. All right? So this is a key for fat burning plus muscle retention. All right? Consistent sleep improves adherence and motivation. Okay? So the more consistent your sleep is, the more high quality your sleep is, the more motivated you'll be, the more disciplined you'll be on getting your tasks done. The more motivated you'll be on going to the gym. The more motivated you'll be to not put bullshit foods in your mouth. you'll be way more motivated to stay on that diet, months longer. Give it, be more patient with the results, because all the other stuff you're doing, the sleep, the habits, the planning, the education, you're doing all the stuff behind the scenes that's going to make you losing weight much easier. Okay, but like I say, your deep sleep promotes growth hormone release. That means getting around 7 hours of sleep a night. It's going to help you be more consistent with your discipline and motivation. So keep that in mind. Right? Hidden block number 4, chronic stress. All right, this is another thing blocking you guys. Chronic stress. Okay. So remember this: stress doesn't just drain you; it stores fat. So stress, it doesn't just give you a headache. You're getting a headache and you're putting on fat. Let's be honest. So it's a double-edged sword. You're not going to win. Stress harms you in many more ways than one. All right. So when you're constantly stressed, your body produces cortisol, which is a survival hormone. Okay. So let's take a look at the stress fat loop. All right. So we want to start at the top, which is we're starting at chronic stress. So we go from chronic stress. After that, we got cortisol spike. After that, craving junk food. After that, emotional eating. After that, poor sleep. Guess what's next? More stress tomorrow. And this goes in a cycle and cycle and cycle. And when we say chronic stress, I mean, if you're stressed for longer than a month, that's considered chronic stress. If you're in a stressful state longer than a month. And I was in this cycle for a long time. When I started working in my personal training job, I mean, I was in a cycle of stress. I had to drive to the job at like for 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute drive. I had to get up early in the morning. I had to figure out, am I going to work out now? Am I work out later? Am I going to be tired? I got clients that canceling. I was so fucked. When I first started that job. And I thought I was, I'm still working out, I'm still maintaining. No, I'm stressed, I'm cooked. You got the boss is on my neck. I gotta hit my KPI numbers. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Not knowing I was just planning to stress his hands. This is a lot of position you guys are in right now, which you guys are doing the right things. You're working out, eating healthy, you're doing everything, but you just are stressed at your job. You're stressed. You're stressed. And normally, like we say, the way we counteract stress is to get enough sleep. So we might have to sacrifice going out at night, or sacrifice waking up watching TV, watching your favorite TV show at 10 o'clock to be in bed and sleep. Because the cycle is going to keep continuing, and as you see, it's not going to end. Because for every cycle, you're going to get dopamine. So think about it. After the cortisol spike, you get dopamine from junk food craving. So your brain's giving you dopamine. Hey, get some junk food. I want Five Guys. I want a burger. I want Chick-fil-A. Come on. Next, you get emotional eating. So you start justifying it. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I did good at the gym this week. I was on every day. I feel good. My weight's down 5 pounds. I feel amazing. So you start justifying it, and then guess what? You eat that bullshit food. And let's be honest, after you eat it, you don't feel as good. You probably feel like, I shouldn't have ate that. I feel a little bit lazy. I feel a little bit bad. It wasn't on my plan. I shouldn't have done that. And what does that do? You start thinking about it, start stressing. Oh, I'll watch a show. I'll stay up a little bit later. I'll do this, do that. I'll go out. Then guess what? Poor sleep. And then guess what? Oh, well, I got to go to work tomorrow, or I got bills to pay, or this and that happens, or I got to do this tomorrow. Things from tomorrow start to creep up, and then guess what? You're stressed tomorrow. Back to more chronic, back to more stress. So you just biting yourself in the ass pretty much. Because what you want to do is you want to end it off at junk food cravings. The way you cut it off at junk food cravings. So you satisfy that junk food craving with something else, something different. So we can cut that cycle right there. That's the plan. That's the key. All right? So what causes stress? What are the main factors that cause stress? All right? So more than likely, 40% is from work. So almost half is job-related stress and workload. I know this all too well. Got a bunch of clients who work a lot. Everybody is somewhat stressed from the job, or if not that, something else. Something always giving somebody some type of stress. You know, crazy. Next, 25% is from poor sleep. So 1 out of 4 people, well, 1 out of 5, one out of 4 people have stress from poor sleep, which is less of adequate rest and sleep. So many people are sleep deprived. Sleeping less than 6 hours a night. Yeah. After that, we got financial pressure. So economic burdens and worries. Most guys are stressed because they gotta pay the bills. They gotta get money. They gotta save money. They gotta, kind of count their loose ends. I don't blame them, but that brings people a lot of stress. If they're not making enough, if they're not well off, that brings stress. A lot of different factors. And last but not least, is 50% is relationships. Interpersonal conflicts and issues. And we don't talk about this a lot, but yeah, relationships can give you stress, especially if you're with the wrong person. If you I can tell a quick story right now, man. I was stressed a lot back in 2021, 2022, when I finally quit my job as a personal trainer and went all into myself to start my own business as far as on personal training side, online coaching. My girlfriend at the time wasn't into fitness a lot, and she wanted to start her own candle business. I helped her out with that. She didn't really have any grind or hustle or motivation. And, I was kind of dealing with that, trying to build my own thing, and arguments, fights, this and that happens. And it's a whole another story we'll touch on in another video, but that brought me a lot of stress. So during that time, even financially, I was like, okay, I got to get it on my own. So I was already stressed because of that. And now I got relationships on my back. So I was dealing with a lot. I had work stress, financial stress, and relationship stress. So you could have more than one stressor. That's the sick thing too. That's the crazy thing, is you can have more than one stress that's stressing you out at one time. Oh my goodness, I can remember that. I was stressed. Yeah, so that situation didn't work out, as you can see. She wasn't in the gym at all, so that didn't work out. So yeah, you guys can be stressed from you guys can be all this can make you guys stressed, literally. So how do we manage that? Well, first we got to get sleep. First we got to get some rest. First we got to let our mind think, and then we can knock each one off one by one. But we must have proper sleep first. Very, very important. Okay. So number 5 is hidden block. Number 5 is underestimating calories. All right. Here you go. So let's say this. Let's say you're eating more than you think every single day. Let's say you think you're in a deficit, but you're eating more than you think. Okay? Because even when you think you're in a deficit, you might be 300 to 800 calories over your target because of these simple things. I mean, you might be eyeballing portions. You might not be honest with your tracking. You might not be tracking cooking oils or butters. You might not be tracking. Excuse me for a second. Yeah, I've been up since 4. It's 11. It's like what 10:30 a.m. right now. I've been up for like 6 hours already. But yeah, so next, sauces and condiments. Those things like mustards, mayonnaises hold a lot of calories. Even little snacks, little bites, licks, tastes from like snacks in the cabinet. You might get a cracker, but it's just a cracker. It's not a big deal. Oh, this is a piece of a little thing. It's not a big deal. Those add up. Next, you got protein bars, protein snacks, sometimes inaccurate. Dining out, going out eating, and no telling what type of cooking oils or butters they use in that. And next is untracked weekends. I get this a lot with my clients. They track from Monday to Friday, but Saturday and Sunday they fall off and they stop tracking. They fall off and they stop tracking. So untracked weekends are the biggest thing kind of holding a lot of guys back, because you think you're doing a good job, but in reality you're shooting yourself in the foot because you're not tracking every single day. You're not locked in every single day. So these are maybe the reasons why you think you're eating. You think you might be in a deficit, but you're not. because guess what? 300 to 800 calories have been overlooked because of these reasons here. All right. So here's some common calorie bombs. So this is what a lot of guys underestimate how much they're eating. All right. So 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is 190 calories, and many people assume it's just 100 calories. So many people assume it's less than half of what it is. All right. Next is olive oil. 2 tablespoons in the pan is 240 calories. Think about that. If you cook with olive oil and you do 2 tablespoons, that's 240 calories. Many people don't even track it. Trust me, I didn't for a long time. I didn't track it. No, it's never tracked. Salad dressing, 2 tablespoons is 120 calories. Many people think it's only 40 calories. Okay, interesting. 1 protein bar is 200 calories. Many people think it's 150. And just snacking, just going to the kitchen and snacking 4 times a day, it's costing you. It is 150 to 300 calories, and they don't track it. It doesn't come into mind. So just on snacking alone, you can be up 300 calories just from, oh, it's just a bite. It's just a quick snack. It's not a big deal. That's what's really hurting a lot of guys. It's just, oh, it's just a bite. It's not a big deal. It's okay. It's just one piece. And that stuff is going to add up. And God forbid you do it 8 times a day. You know, with a meal that's not tracked, you might as well kiss your diet, kiss your routine goodbye, pretty much. All right. So hidden block number 6: poor digestion equals poor fat loss. All right. So let's talk about this here. So poor digestion equals poor fat loss. When digestion is poor, your fat loss slows down for 3 big reasons. All right. So number 1, inflammation equals stress equals fat storage. So we already talked about how stress equals fat, but inflammation from poor digestion equals stress, and that's going to equal more fat. So your body treats gut issues like a threat. So the things that you may feel in your stomach, the bubbly, the acid reflection thing is a gut issue, digestion issue. And digestion issues comes from the food, the type of food you're eating. And we're gonna dive into that. Because number 2 is nutrition absorption drops. So even if you eat clean, you can't absorb nutrients well when your gut is off. All right, because this equals a slow metabolism, which means lower energy and less recovery. Okay, because if your gut is off, if your gut isn't optimized, you can't break down those healthy foods. You can't break down those clean foods. All right. And last but not least, number 3 is your gut-brain axis disruption. All right. So your gut produces over 90% of your serotonin, which is mood and cravings. All right. So poor gut health equals more cravings, less control, and more emotional eating. So the gut and brain axis disruption. So your gut and brain is connected. And like I said, your gut produces over 90% of your serotonin, which is your mood and craving. So your gut kind of influences what you feel and what you want to eat. Your gut does that. So think about this. Poor gut health, that means you want to crave more foods, crave more bad foods, crave more foods to make probably make your gut feel better because it's toxic, it's some BS toxic in there. So your gut's going to crave more sugar, crave more salt, crave more fat, and that it's hard to beat your gut. It's hard to beat hormones. So guess what? You're going to give into it. That means less control and more emotional eating. All right, less control and more emotional eating. And there's a lot of things people don't think about at all. It's flushing out your gut, flushing out digestion, when to fast, when to go on a water fast, when to go on a detox. Very, very important stuff. Very important. Okay? And hidden block number 7 is you've lost muscle. Okay? You lost muscle, and that's why you're stuck. So muscle equals your metabolic engine. No muscle equals slow metabolism. So if you're not building muscle, your metabolism isn't going to get any faster. You need more muscle in order for your metabolism to speed up and go faster, so you can lose weight, so you can lose fat, so you can, burn that energy. Okay? So look at this graph here. Higher caloric needs equals higher muscle mass. Person A. Person B, lower caloric needs, lower muscle mass. Alright? So muscle mass influences daily caloric needs. But how do we switch on this? Well, having a high protein diet. A lot of people don't have high protein diets. Actually, protein is the thing people are missing out on the most. And it doesn't matter if you're in a calorie deficit or not. Having protein is still going to be the building blocks of your body, the building blocks of your diet. That's going to help you lose fat the most. That's going to help you lose fat the most and the fastest, and help you maintain it for a long period of time. So remember that. So no muscle equals slow metabolism. So you must want to build more muscle to lose fat. The only way you can lose fat is by building more muscle. Yes, you can still lose fat the regular way by dieting and just losing the belly fat, but you're just going to look skinny. At some point, we got to build some type of muscle, some type of lean muscle mass. Is very, very important. Okay? So, back again. Let's talk about the leak points once again. We went on it in the beginning of the video. Let's talk about it. The common fat loss leaks once again. All right? Remember, inadequate tracking, low steps, weekend binges, lack of sleep, high stress, poor digestion, low protein, or no lifting. These are the leak points that you guys want to fix to start building muscle, losing weight, and getting to better to good habits as well. All right, so fix these leak points, and you'll start making progress within the next week or so, easily. Okay, so here's the fixed framework: the fat loss triangle. So what do you guys need to do right now to start losing fat? All right, and I call this the 3 fat loss levers. All right, so which is very, very important. We start at the top, which is important, but you want to still have some leeway. Okay, so recovery. So this is going to be the tip of the top. All right, so 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and to manage stress effectively. All right, remember, that's going to help you mitigate your hormones, help you lock in on your hormones. Because there's no room for error. If you have no recovery or sleep, you're done for. There's no room for error in this one. So you need sleep. You need to recover. You need to make sure you're getting at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep at night at minimum. Right, at minimum. Okay. Next is movement. You want to aim for 8,000 to 10,000 steps every single day. All right. Remember, when we said walking, taking the stairs, doing small different activities during the day to keep moving, stay lean, to keep moving, keep steps high, keep activity high. Okay. Next is precision. You want to track accurately for effective results. So you want to track your food accurately, no snacking, track your oils, make sure you put enough food in, and you're getting enough of your data out. So track your food, go over it. Don't make mistakes. Check the packages, Always account for errors as well. It's very, very important. Okay? So the funny thing is you're not broken. You're just misinformed. Like, you don't need more restrictions. You just need a better execution. You just need a jump start to get to that next level. That's all you need. You don't need more dieting, more don't eat that, don't eat this. You just need the right execution. That's all you guys need. All right? So, if you're looking to level up your physique and mindset by working with me, you guys can book a call using the link down below in the description. All right? If you guys need more help with this, or want a foolproof plan you guys can follow step by step, even like one of my clients, like I said, my guy Robert, he didn't work out at all. All he did was eat right. He lost 18 pounds in 3 months. He went from 216, and he's 197 right now in 3 months, just by using this same system. All right. So if you guys want that same kind of outlook, or that same strategy, that same results, book a call with me down below, and we'll see if you're a good fit to work with me one-on-one, so we can help you transform your mindset and physique at the same exact time. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it. Let's go.